Hi, everybody. This is Miss Rice here for some story time. I'm going to be reading Ruth by Laura Silverman. So there are some slurs that are censored out in the text. So when those come along in the story, I will simply pause and refrain from saying them, just as a heads up. So let's get started. My phone pings 6 times in a row, then 7, then 8. Excited, I quickly close out of the page on the computer screen where my latest blog post, 15 Feminist as Heck YA Books, just went live. Then I pick up my phone. The screen lights up with a flood of notifications from Twitter, where all of my blog content auto-posts. I spin around in Mom's office chair and kick my feet up on the computer desk while reading the comments, barely finishing one before another arrives. Bookish Boy 12. OMG, these recs are perfect. TBR explodes. Rosa Diaz Forever. Why do you keep doing this to my wallet? Authoring always. Thanks for including me, Ruth. I glow with pride as all the comments pour in. I spend a lot of time on my blog posts. Too much time, according to my dad, even though he's the one who drives me to the bookstore and library whenever I want. So it's always heartening to know people appreciate the work. As I'm about to start replying to the comments, my phone buzzes with a text from Daniel. We met online in the blogging community last year and immediately bonded over our love for YA books with Jewish characters, a subgenre that can be frustratingly scant. Have you seen this? Daniel asks. He attaches an article link. Something about an adoption agency in Georgia refusing to let Jewish and Muslim couples adopt children, and Congress allowing it. My skin crawls just seeing it. What's wrong with people? That's bullshit, I text back. I read the article, all my book blogging joy evaporating and quickly being replaced with anger. My parents always talk about politics. I used to zone them out, but now there's an election in 1 month, and with my 18th birthday 2 weeks before that, I'll be able to vote for the first time. I should probably start paying more attention. I tweet the article link and caption it. Congress is trying to ban Jewish and Muslim couples from adopting babies. Hashtag vote them out. I sigh and run a hand through my hair. Blah. My curls are tangled and matted after a particularly sweaty tennis practice. It's late. I need to jump in the shower and go to sleep before my parents tell me to jump in the shower and go to sleep. 20 minutes later, I'm in my own room in bed with my latest book from my TBR pile and brushing my wet hair with one hand so I can read at the same time. Just as I'm turning a page, my phone pings, then pings again and again and again. Probably more likes on my blog post. I scan the notifications, brow furrowing. The messages are from unfamiliar users and all replying to my adoption tweet. I lean forward and read a couple tweets. Blue Wave 2020, hashtag vote them out. Dems for life, shame on them. I smile, glad to see I spread the word. I'm about to put my phone down and go back to reading when one more message pings in. Pepe Lover. Shut up, Jew. My stomach drops. Throat tightens. The words stare me down. Shut up, Jew, shut up, Jew, shut up, Jew. It's a troll, just a stupid troll. I've had them before on my blog posts, particularly the feminist ones like the one tonight. They call me silly or ridiculous or most ironically sexist, but never this. No one has ever mentioned my religion. Not on my roundup of books with the best Shabbat dinner scenes, and not in my posts comparing YA characters to the characters in Fiddler on the Roof. My fingers hesitate. Do I respond? Quote tweet with something wrong and pithy like I do with the feminist trolls? Make sure my followers see the comments so they can rally behind me? Shut up, Jew, shut up, Jew, shut up, Jew. I live near Atlanta. There are a lot of Jewish people in my community, even at my public school. We don't deal with Semitism. I've never dealt with anti-Semitism. Jew. Suddenly the word I've identified with my entire life feels dirty. Another notification pings in. My heart skips a beat and I swallow hard before reading it. Endless TBR. Definitely going to pick some of these books up. Thanks, Rue. My body is tight, tense, Jew. I just want that word gone. Before I can overthink it, I block the troll and then send out one more tweet before going to bed. Bookish Berkowitz. Endless TBR. Thanks. Hope you love the books. A few days later, I meet up with one of my real-life bookish friends at a little bookstore in Atlanta. There is a reading and signing here today with one of our favorite authors, but we're super early, so we decide to get coffee down the block first. I still don't have my license because Atlanta traffic is scary as heck, and okay, I'm maybe more than a bit of a procrastinator, so my dad dropped me off and my friend is going to drive me home. Should I get caramel or double caramel? Caitlin asks me. She sweeps her blonde hair over her shoulder as she peruses the menu. Definitely double caramel, I respond, thinking I'll have the same. We order and then step to the side to wait for our drinks. Did you see the Twitter drama? Caitlin asks. Shut up, Jew. For a moment, I think she's talking about my Twitter drama, but there's no way anyone saw it that quickly. Those 3 words still play over and over again in my mind. Maybe I should have responded instead of blocking him. Is that what he wanted? Or did he want to scare me into silence? And do I care what he wanted? It should be about what I want. No, I say, what's going on? You haven't seen it? It's everywhere. I've been trying to stay off Twitter this week. I trail off, staring ahead. Ruth, are you okay? Our drinks are ready, and Caitlin hands me mine. We walk over to the seating area and manage to grab 2 very cushy leather chairs. I curl up and take a sip of my drink, icy and sweet, total perfection. Double caramel for the win. I play with the straw, bending it back and forth before taking another sip. Should I tell Caitlin? She has a great bookstagram, but she's quiet on Twitter and uses a cute little avatar as her profile picture. And, well, she isn't Jewish. I'm not sure if she'd understand, but still, it'd probably be smart to share what's going on with someone. Yeah, so I say, fidgeting with my straw. There was this troll on Twitter yesterday, and, he said, "Shut up, Jew?" I say it like a question, like I almost don't trust my own memory of what happened. Why didn't I take a screenshot? Will the message still be there if I unblock him? What if Caitlin doesn't believe me? What? Caitlin exclaims. Are you serious? That's disgusting, Ruth. We have to do something about it. We do? I ask. Of course. Can't let them get away with it. Let me see the tweet. I wince. I don't know if you can. I blocked him. Caitlin gestures for my phone. I share the guy's username, and a second later, she has him unblocked, the tweet pulled up, and is ready to quote tweet. This is so gross, Caitlin says, shaking her head. We'll tweet a great comeback and then have people report him for harassment, all right? I snort. Yeah, because that always works so well. Twitter's terrible with harassment complaints. Yeah, but I bet if enough people do it, then it'll be more of a bother not to suspend the account. Okay, so Caitlin takes a minute to type out a response. She sips on her drink as she types, and sometimes the straw slips, making a loud slurping, suctiony pop. What about this? She passes me the phone and I read the tweet. It's simple and clear. Still, I'm unsure, but Caitlin's eyes are wide and excited. I nod and press post. Bookish Berkowitz, at Pepe Lover. Shut up, troll. Raven Puff Girl, at Bookish Berkowitz. OMG, blocked and reported. Unrequited for Molly. Bookish Berkowitz, at Pepper Lover. Go back to your cave of deplorables, Pepe. Wording away. At Bookish Berkowitz. How awful. I'm sorry you have to deal with this, Ruth. Reported and sending you hugs. Heart. Library Life 12. At Bookish Berkowitz. Trash people are trash. Reported. Wow, that's a lot of responses, Caitlin says as we leave the bookstore. The event was really awesome and got my mind off things for a bit. The author ran late, but she was the sweetest and apologized a million times and stayed to sign everyone's books, even though the line was like 2 hours long. I clutched my precious signed copy to my chest, excited to Instagram it and the stack of 3 other books I couldn't resist picking up while at the store. I opened my tote bag and sniffed the rest of my stash. There's nothing better than the smell of brand new books. Except perhaps the delicious scent of used books. Basically, all book smells are great, and I finally need to give in and buy a book-scented candle. You've got to look at this, Caitlin continues, passing me her phone. I sigh. Can't I keep this book high a little bit longer? But I glance at the screen, and my mouth drops open. 43 retweets and over 100 responses? I never get this kind of traction. Quickly, I check my own account and find the two big authors and an editor I adore retweeted the post. And also, OMG, I squeal. Read the Force followed me. At Read the Force is a huge book blogger. I've been watching their YouTube videos for years. My fingers hover over the DM button, but I resist. If I fangirl all up in their face, I might scare them off. Ah, and look, Caitlin says, leaning into me and sharing her own screen again. The Trolls account has been suspended. Awesome new followers and suspended account. Not bad for a day's work, huh? Not bad, I reply. Caitlin knocks shoulders with me. Come on, you can keep scrolling while I drive. Gotta get home for dinner, or I'll never hear the end of it from Dad, who thinks he's God's gift for cooking once a week. Read comments to me while I drive? Sure thing. Later that night, after I finished my pile of homework for school tomorrow, I'm in bed and texting with Daniel. We're reading the same book right now, which means reading is going slowly because we stop at the end of each chapter and text each other all of our feels. Okay, back to reading. BTW. That's awesome about the total troll domination. Sorry that happened to you. Thanks. Just some weird freak thing, I guess. Okay, back to reading. I'm only a page into the next chapter when my phone buzzes again. I roll my eyes, grinning, because Daniel always has a final thing to say. I swear the sequel is going to be out by the time we finish this book. But it's not Daniel. It's a Twitter notification. Pepe Reborn. Can't get rid of me that easily. My heart races as I stare at that word, a slur I've only heard about in Hebrew school classes. And who are all of those people he's tagging? I go to text Caitlin for advice, but suddenly my phone buzzes again and again and again. My eyes widen as notifications flood in. 5 retweets of the Trolls tweet, then 12, then 17, then 26. How's it multiplying so fast? Who retweeted him? I check one of the tagged accounts and see they retweeted the post to 430,000 followers. Panic courses through me as responses flood in. More slurs and hateful comments and pictures also. A cartoon illustration of that Pepe frog standing outside of a concentration camp. And then real photos of concentration camps. Starved bodies and sunken eyes. Bile rises in the back of my throat and I swallow hard. I don't want to look at this. I can't look at this. Hand shaking, I put my account on lock, but some of the trolls have already followed me. Not knowing what else to do, I disable my account. Silence. Then my phone buzzes again. I jump. How are they still getting to me? Heart in my throat, I turn my phone over and glance at the screen with one eye. Daniel, did you finish the chapter? OMG, that kiss. I hesitate, unsure whether or not to tell him about what just happened. He's Jewish. He'll probably understand more than anyone else in the community. And he'll notice my account is disabled eventually, but those pictures flash before my eyes. Gaunt, tortured people. Not just people, but relatives of mine. All of my family was from Europe at one point or another. Cousins of cousins of cousins. They were from Europe, and now they're not anywhere. I push the thought away and text back. Haha, yeah, great kiss. Great. OMG, I thought it was so awk. I mean, great in its awkwardness. I'm gonna go to bed. Read more tomorrow. I put my phone down, hoping disabling my account was the right call. They're just bored internet people trying to bait me. They can't win if I'm not online. I distract myself with my bedtime routine. I have a test at school tomorrow and a tennis match later in the day. I need to concentrate, focus. Shower, stretch, brush my hair. When I get back into bed, I automatically go to open Twitter. Right, can't do that. Instead, I go to my blog and read all the comments on my latest post. Maybe being off Twitter for a bit will be good. I'll have more time to attack my TBR. I can get another post up sooner. I click off my screen and go to sleep. My dreams are scattered that night. There's darkness and shouting and running and hiding. I wake up before dawn, sweating and with all my sheets kicked off. I try to shake off the feeling as I get ready, showering again to get off the dried sweat and making a treat-yourself breakfast of peanut butter banana toast drizzled with honey. By the time I'm at school, my thoughts are focused back on class, with only the remnants of the dream still clinging to them. At lunch that afternoon, I'm sitting next to Caitlin and a bunch of other friends. The cafeteria is packed and as loud as ever, people shouting across the table to get each other's attention. "Isn't this adorable?" Caitlin asks, showing me her screen. "I'm so good at Bookstagram. It's honestly unbelievable." I snort. "Low self-confidence much?" But I oblige and glance at the screen as Caitlin scrolls through a dozen photos pointing out her favorite. "I think the orange cover really pops in this one," she says, "but the Funko Pop is out of frame." She twists her lips. What do you think?" "This one for sure," I say, pointing to another photo where the crispness and saturation is so perfect. "Apple could probably use it for an advertisement." "Perfect," Caitlin grins and starts tapping away. I take a bite of my congealed mashed potatoes. I will never admit to anyone how much I love cold, clumped, congealed cafeteria mashed potatoes. I'm a freak and I know it. "Yeah, but Jewish people are rich." My shoulders tense. I keep looking down at my mashed potatoes, listening in on the conversation happening further down the table. A quick glance to the left tells me it's two guys from my biology class. I haven't had much overlap with them and can't recall their names. That's because they make all that money in Hollywood and keep it for themselves. Must be nice. Maybe I should marry a Jewish girl one day. In this moment, I'm overtly aware of my thick, curly brown hair, of the small Star of David pendant I've worn around my neck since my bat mitzvah, of my absences from school this past month for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. I stare down at my congealed mashed potatoes, my stomach in knots. "Shut up, Jew. Can't get rid of me that easily." Those are threats. Those are slurs. They make all that money in Hollywood and keep it for themselves. What is that? An assumption? A bias? Prejudice? It definitely isn't true. My parents don't work in Hollywood and they donate more to charity than anyone else I know. It's called Chezdaka. It's our responsibility to give back. "Ruth, why haven't you liked my post yet?" Caitlin asks. I turn to her and keep my voice low. "Did you hear them say that?" "Huh? Who? Say what?" Caitlin, opposite of covertly, whips her head back and forth, looking at everyone at our long table. I shove her gently in the side with my elbow. "Stop looking around," I say. "Look at me and quiet." Those two guys at the left end of the table, I pause. "They said like all Jews work in Hollywood." Caitlin pauses, blinks, then shrugs. "Yeah, I mean, a lot of them do, don't they?" My throat tightens. Suddenly, I feel hot and itchy and like I want to cry right here in the cafeteria in front of everyone and my congealed mashed potatoes. This is Caitlin, my friend who told me to go after the Semitic troll. And now something is happening in real life and she doesn't think anything of it? Does she think it's true? "My parents don't work in Hollywood," I say quietly. The bell rings, and everyone gets up, grabbing their trays and backpacks. Caitlin glances back and smiles brightly to me as we exit the cafeteria. "Be sure to like my Instagram." And then she turns, and we walk down opposite hallways. I flip through the pages until I find the quote I want. Last year, I read this memoir by a Holocaust survivor, Eli Wiesel's Night, to write my 5 Jewish nonfiction must-reads list, and there was this quote that's always stuck with me. There it is, the quote I circled, then highlighted, then starred. "Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented." The thing is, I thought those internet trolls were just that, internet trolls. Ignore them and they'll go away. But it's like all of their vitriol is bleeding into real life or something. Because maybe if something is repeated enough times, even from an unreliable source like a troll online, it sinks in and a lie slowly becomes the truth. And maybe if teenage boys scrolling on Twitter or Reddit hear it enough times, they'll begin to believe it. And they won't even think twice when they mention it at a cafeteria table. And maybe if no one speaks up to those guys at a cafeteria table, they'll grow up and become politicians and they won't see anything wrong about voting for laws not allowing us to adopt from certain places because, to be honest, they've always heard bad things about those Jews. I should have responded to Caitlin in the cafeteria today. I should have made her listen when I said my parents don't work in Hollywood. And I should have explained why the idea we all do feels insidious. And I should have asked her to stand up for and with me and confront those guys. Because when I read a book with horrible representation, whether it's ableist or racist or fatphobic, I tweet and blog about it, making sure everyone I can reach hears me. I stand up for what's right. So why have I not been doing that for myself? I snap a photo of the quote. Then I text Daniel. Hey, can you help me with something? 6 hours later, my eyes are burning from staring at a computer screen for so long, and my hands are shaking from weariness, nerves, and excitement. The post is beautiful, my very best yet. I told Daniel everything that happened, and he helped me comb the shelves to put this together. This could go badly. The trolls could take things even further, leave comments on my actual blog, or even hack my email. But I can't let them stay out there alone, saying these hateful and false things without someone countering them. Because if they're the only voice out there, then they are right by default. Daniel texts me. Post it already. My finger wavers over the key for just a moment. Shut up, Jew, shut up, Jew, shut up, Jew. I hit post. Not your Jewish stereotype. 15 books featuring glorious Jewish heroes and heroines. Dear readers, as some of you might have noticed, I disabled my Twitter account for a short time. That is because after tweeting about a potential law impacting Jewish people's ability to adopt children, linked here, I was targeted by an anti-Semitic troll. When I fought back, the troll brought in the cavalry and flooded my account with hateful threats and photos. I thought it was best to delete my account, to not give them the satisfaction of response. But I was wrong. Because as Eli Wiesel, renowned Holocaust survivor, said, neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. If I let the trolls be the only voices out there, then they will win. So I will not encourage their hatefulness with my silence. Instead, I will fight back by promoting the heck out of some incredible Jewish books. Buy these books, read these books, and follow the Jewish traditions of Sekadah. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And donate these books so others can enjoy and learn from them. Jewish people are not evil or less than, and we are not one thing. We are not all lawyers or bankers or all working in Hollywood. As you read this selection of books, you will learn, however, that many of us are kind and passionate and giving. Thank you for reading this post. I would be so grateful if you shared it. Yours, Ruth Berkowitz. Caitlin finds me in the hall the next day at school. I'm the worst, aren't I? She asks as she grabs my arm and leans into me. I pause before responding. You're definitely not the worst. Last night and this morning there was a lot of the worst. That's because I reactivated my Twitter and not only posted my latest blog post, but also tagged all of the trolls in it. There was a war in my mentions. Terrible comments and threats from the trolls, but then also what felt like the whole bookish community fighting back at them. At Read the Force even quote tweeted it with a whole beautiful thread of anger and love. I had no idea they were Jewish also. The post was everywhere, and all of these people messaged with screenshots of their book orders. So Caitlin definitely isn't the worst, but what she said did hurt. I'm sorry, Caitlin says. Really and truly. I wasn't thinking yesterday. Thank you for apologizing. I hesitate. I guess that's part of it. You weren't thinking. It's kind of upsetting those subconscious thoughts are already in your head. Caitlin blinks hard. I know. It's weird and bad, and I'm really sorry. I wanted to make it up to you, and to just be better. So Caitlin pulls out her phone and shows me the screen. I ran up to the bookstore last night after your post. They only had a few in stock, but I look at the latest picture on Caitlin's Bookstagram, a stack of 3 glorious Jewish books from my list. The post already has hundreds of likes. I have a couple more on order, she says, and I'm going to totally read them. I promise these aren't just pretty shelf sitters. I smile and say, thank you. Are we okay? She asks. We're okay. And we are okay. Because what she did hurt me, really hurt me, but she's here and she's listening, and I know she'll work to do better. And that's what matters. Because yes, the trolls' voices are out there, but now those voices are being combated by @Read the Forces and Caitlin's and those of 15 incredible Jewish writers, and also my voice.